you wake up and you already feel tired. Not because your body did too much, but because your heart has been carrying questions that no one else seems to understand. You pray, but the room feels quiet. You believe, but the people around you don't always see the way you believe. And sometimes you wonder if you are doing something wrong, or if you are simply walking a road that was never meant to be crowded. I want to speak to you gently today, not as someone who has all the answers, but as someone who has sat with God long enough to know that misunderstanding is not a sign of failure in faith. There are women who shout their beliefs and are celebrated for it. And there are women who carry their faith quietly. And the quiet ones are often the most misunderstood. You may be the woman who doesn't fit neatly into the boxes people expect. Not emotional enough for some, not bold enough for others. Too thoughtful, too patient, too slow to speak. And somewhere along the way, you started wondering if your way of believing is acceptable to God, because it doesn't look like everyone else's. But faith was never meant to be a performance. It was meant to be a relationship. There is a passage in Scripture that reminds us that the Lord looks not at the outward appearance, but at the heart. That truth is not poetic decoration. It is a foundation. God sees the thoughts you never say out loud. He sees the prayers that begin with confusion instead of confidence. He sees the nights you fall asleep mid-prayer, not because you don't care, but because you are exhausted from caring so deeply. Being misunderstood does not disqualify you. In many ways, it confirms that your faith is personal, not borrowed, not rehearsed, not shaped to impress. Jesus himself was misunderstood more than anyone who ever walked this earth. People followed him for bread but left when he spoke truth. They praised him one day and questioned him the next. If misunderstanding were proof of being wrong, the cross would never have happened. Sometimes the most faithful thing you can do is continue walking with God, even when no one claps, even when no one affirms, even when no one explains you correctly. There is a loneliness that comes with faith, and it is rarely talked about. Not the loneliness of being abandoned by God, but the loneliness of being unseen by people. You sit in church and feel different. You join conversations and feel out of step. You listen more than you speak. And when you do speak, you are not always understood. That does not mean you are weak. It means you are discerning. The Bible speaks of wisdom as something gentle, peaceable, and full of mercy. Wisdom does not rush to prove itself. Wisdom waits. And waiting is hard, especially when others mistake your patience for passivity. You may be waiting for clarity, waiting for healing, waiting for God to explain why your journey looks the way it does. But waiting is not wasted time. It is often where God does his deepest work, the kind of work that cannot be rushed or displayed. There are roots growing in you that no one can see yet, and roots grow best in silence. Breathe in darkness. You do not need to justify your faith to everyone. Jesus did not explain himself to every skeptic. Sometimes he answered with a story. Sometimes he answered with silence. Silence is not absence. It is often presence resting deeply. You may feel pressure to be louder, stronger, more certain, more expressive, but God has never required uniformity from his children. Breathe. He has always delighted in diversity of hearts. Think of the women Jesus met. A woman at a well with questions and history. A woman who touched his garment without speaking a word. A woman who wept at his feet when words failed her. Each one believed differently, and each one was met with compassion. Your faith does not need to look like anyone else's to be real. It needs to be honest. There is something sacred about honesty before God. Scripture tells us that a broken and sincere heart is never despised by Him. You are allowed to bring your doubts into prayer. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to grow slowly. Faith is not a finish line you sprint toward. It is a path you walk. Sometimes confidently, sometimes limping, sometimes stopping to rest. And God walks at your pace. People may rush you. They may tell you to believe harder, pray louder, trust faster. But God is not impatient with your process. He is present in it. There is a verse that reminds us that the Lord is close to the weary and the discouraged, not close to the impressive, not close to the flawless, close to the tired. If you feel misunderstood today, it may be because you are living from a deeper place than others can see. Depth often looks like distance to those who live on the surface. You are not too much, and you are not too little. You are becoming. Becoming requires space. Breathe, and space often feels like isolation. But even in isolation, you are not alone. God does not shout over you. He listens. He listens when you say, "I believe, but I'm struggling." He listens when you say, "I trust you, but I don't understand." Those prayers are not weak. They are brave. There is courage in staying faithful without applause. There is strength in continuing to love God, even when your life doesn't look like a testimony yet. You are not behind. Bree, you are being shaped. Scripture reminds us that what God begins, He is faithful to complete. Completion does not mean perfection. It means purpose unfolding in time. Your journey is not late. It is layered. Some seasons build your faith quietly, so that later seasons can sustain you publicly. If God ever chooses to make your life visible, and if He doesn't, your faith is still precious. The world celebrates visibility, but heaven honors faithfulness. You may never be understood by everyone, but you are fully known by God. And being known by God is better than being praised by people. There is rest in that truth, if you let it settle into your soul. Rest from explaining. Rest from defending. Rest from proving. Jesus said that His burden is light, but we often make it heavy by carrying expectations He never gave us. You do not have to carry the weight of other people's opinions into your prayer life. Leave them at the door. Come to God as you are, with your quiet faith, your thoughtful questions, your tender heart. He is not disappointed in you. If anything, He is proud of the way you keep showing up, even when you feel unseen. There is a future shaped by God's wisdom, not by human timelines. Trust does not mean understanding everything. Bree, it means staying open when clarity hasn't arrived yet. Gratitude grows in that space. Not forced gratitude, but the kind that whispers, "Thank you for walking with me, even when I don't know where this path leads." If this message resonates with your heart, and you find comfort in these quiet reflections, you are welcome to subscribe to the Dear Woman of Faith channel. Bree, a place for thoughtful souls who are learning to trust God gently. You don't have to rush your healing. You don't have to rush your growth. God is patient, and His patience is not passive. It is intentional. He is building something in you that will hold weight, carry love, and reflect grace. Even if others don't see it yet, He does, and that is enough.